Hello, everybody. I welcome you to yet another exciting episode of Podcast with Bose Fellows. And we have, again, a special guest, one of our Bose Fellows, Apurva, with us. Thank you so much for joining in, Apurva. How are you doing?
Hi, Anandita. I'm great. How are you?
I'm good as well. Apurva, why don't you introduce yourself for the benefit of our audience?
Hi everyone. I am Apurva Shoran. I have been a professional lawn tennis player since almost for a decade. I have played lawn tennis professionally, and then I started my journey as a UPSC aspirant, and likewise, I was also giving the other competitive exams as well. But yes, I got associated with Naman sir in 2024, and there I started my preparation with him through um, Misfit Journey, and wherein I initially enrolled for optional subject, which is PSIR. And
Mhm.
of course, we all know that he has expertise in that domain. And after that, I enrolled for the GS portion, and I've given three UPSC attempts, and currently, I am pursuing my career as a political consultant with the Political Think Lab, and along with that, I am working as an educator as well. And last year, I enrolled myself for the Bose Fellowship program, which was an initiative started by Naman sir.
Well, it's great to have you here with us, and we have an athlete here with us. I think it's one of the few times that I've done a podcast with an athlete. Anyway, going forward, you mentioned that you were a UPSC aspirant. You are a UPSC aspirant. So could you tell me how did that transition come from, you being preparing for, the syllabus of UPSC to you choosing to, or deciding rather to join Bose Fellowship? Could you tell me why Bose Fellowship and how has your journey been? And yeah, could you just throw a little bit of light upon that?
I think the first motivation was, I would say, Naman sir only, because the topics which he was highlighting in those fellowships were actually quite relatable to me, like the public policy, the politics, and he was combining journalism as well with MBA cohort. So, I mean, if anyone would hear something like that at the first place, they'll automatically get excited about it, that what is going to happen and how a single person is going to giving us such a brief introduction about all such things. And not only introduction, he will provide us the whole concept of how these things actually work in a practical life.
How did you get so good? You speak really well. I'm so impressed, Ananya. And I'm sure, tomorrow they will ask you random questions from your DAF and you will be able to handle it.
So hopefully this will get us past that 200 mark both you and I want to reach.
You're like 24, right?
Yes.
I've never met anyone who is so talented at such a young age. So good.
Thank you.
Good job.
And Misfits actually had a great role to play in it. I actually remember the exact moment when I saw your YouTube video. So this was after I had written the first prelims and I knew I was not prepared for it. And then I saw this and I thought I'd get a good ecosystem.
There you learn a lot about yourself also, because I always thought of myself as an introvert, but it was a revelation for me that I realized I'm not an introvert.
I believe it helps you come out of your shell. I always enjoy watching your lectures and you are very good at the craft of storytelling.
I still remember in history when you linked bronze with the Harappan civilization and as an example of globalization. So that's something that ordinarily one would not link.
Through your PSIR optionals and especially linking together those videos along with discussions around current topics.
I remember it was the 2024 general elections going on. So it made it really easy to link what's happening on ground with the theory in books. I remember it was, I think, the 4th or 5th episode where you said that the study of polity is basically how India has survived as a democracy so far. You have a very beautiful way of putting things together.
I also agree with your question answer method of retaining information, because eventually that's what you need to replicate in the exam.
And also the interrelations we make with each subject. I remember we started with history, we linked that to geography and economy and polity going on. It gave me clarity of thought. because if you read books on your own, it might be difficult to make a sense of it, and you might not be able to link things as you would want to.
It gives a very broad understanding.
You are able to look at the world with a new idea. Whenever I came to a class, I knew that I was learning something new, and you always left us hungry for more. And in terms of economy, because I have a background in economics, and the classes were nothing like that. In the sense, the education system we follow here and your methodology. And I remember we started with Nassim Taleb and his impression of economists. So that was also very profound, because I always thought of economics as a very rational subject, and that's true, but not the way how we are taught here. So why should you be a part of Misfits? Because so basically, for me, my college life was good, but I think because of COVID, I missed that peer-to-peer interaction. And in this competitive ecosystem, you need to collaborate. You can't thrive alone. So I think Misfits provides you that, and it's really engaging when you're in an interactive system and your peers are asking questions. You are in the Zoom breakout rooms. You are interacting with others, sharing your perspectives. So it makes you feel as if you're part of something bigger and you're not just alone in this rat race.
Great. So again, it's great to have you be a part of the Misfit Foundation as means of the Bose Fellowship as well. Now let's move on to the article or the submission that you've made, rather the article that you've published on LinkedIn. And I'll just quickly read the title of what you've written for the benefit of those who might not have read this. So it reads this way: why are even the world's biggest companies trying to become platforms? Yeah, I think you're one of those Bose fellows who've chosen the pipeline and the platforms problem as as your assignment submission. So again, for the benefit of those that might not understand what these two models are, could you help me understand the difference between the two? And yeah, we'll take it from there, and then we can talk more about the core content of what you've written.
Yes, I think this was the topic which was discussed by Naman sir itself in the Bose Fellowship sessions. And I really found this topic to be quite fascinating for me. And thereon, I think somewhere I decided that I'm going to write an article on this. So yeah, so when we talk about the pipeline business, so pipeline business, I think if in a layman's term I could explain it to an ordinary person, then it's just a conventional form of doing a business. Like you start manufacturing something, and then you supply your products to the market, and then through market the customers are reaching out to those products, and the basic marketing strategies which are like the digital and your physical kind of marketing things. Those normal marketing strategies are happening. So like if we go for the Parle G product, so Parle G, we know that that is such nostalgic products they produce. So every layman knows about Parle G. So those kind of businesses are pipeline businesses. Like for a tire manufacturing company also. So those, I think, if I could, I don't know, did I made a justice to explain it? But yeah, those kind of businesses are more the conventional form of doing a business, is more or less as a pipeline business. And when it comes to platform business, so platform business is like they are just providing a platform where a seller and a buyer could connect with each other. So they are not actually doing a business. They are acting as a third party. So if I go about it with an example of Amazon. So Amazon, what Amazon does, Amazon is not producing anything. Amazon is just providing a platform where a buyer from any part of the world could connect from a seller which is there in any part of the world. So I think that's the example I could give for the platform one.
So from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that one of them is associated, which is a pipeline model, is associated with the production of goods itself, and the platform is more like a service provider. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's true.
So I think I kind of understand what you mean by that. Now let's move to the core content of what you've written. So you've mentioned that even the biggest countries are companies are trying to become platforms. Could you first lead with an example, and then we could maybe talk about why? Could you give me an example of a company that's trying to become a platform?
So, in past, like we discussed, I just gave you an example of Amazon. So, Amazon
Mhm.
was when they started, they actually did not started as a platform business itself. They started as a bookseller. So they were kind of a I mean, they were into a pipeline business, but they transformed themselves to a pipeline to a platform business. So that's how I think Amazon, and I think for the Apple also, we can give an example of Apple as well, because they were into core
Mhm.
manufacturing of the Apple products. Initially, they started
Mhm.
um, as a core business model, which is our pipeline business, and now they are into iCloud, Apple Store, iMusic, Apple Music. So that's
Mhm.
how they are proceeding further with in terms of expansioning their horizon with your platform businesses. Yes.
My heart is saying, I'm just emptying my heart here. I'm not being overconfident, sir. Sir, I feel that I'm definitely getting selected. My rank will be under 200.
So should we party already? We can
No, no,
host
no.
your party. We can do something
No.
about that.
No. I'm feeling that, and my rank will be under 200. And sir, I do not know why I am saying this. This may sound like flamboyant, but sir, I feel that I can be in top 20 also. I'm not thinking about the scenario where I do not get selected at all.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and that was my intention and my purpose. In fact, this was the guidance from you as well, that just be yourself and enjoy it.
My dearest Subhash Chandra Bose, it's extremely important that people like you become part of services, Vaibhav.
Thank you, sir.
And no doubt about that you will perhaps join the services. I'm very hopeful of that. But if for some reason result does not swing in your favor, you should know that you have at least won my heart. How much money have you made ever since the announcement?
300 rupees given by my Mossy.
I have recorded every of your feedback already in our classes.
Use it, sir. Use it. I would love your, institute to grow as much as possible.
I am very relieved. Just seeing the name there was good. I saw the rank and my parents were just right there, and I said that I'll get to work, I'll get to serve. And my parents started dancing. 1 minute later, I was like, rank to sun lo. And they were like, it doesn't matter.
So it's mixed feelings, because I am happy that I am in the list, but I am unhappy with the rank as well. So mixed emotions.
We also have a special guest. Daisy is India's youngest officer of 2024 batch.
Hi everyone, I'm Daisy. I graduated in 2024 actually, and I secured AIRs 422 in UPSC this year.
You will get a random case study, you will get a random thing. In essay, you will get a random essay, and that you have to write. And I will be able to analyze it, and I will be try to answer it, not like I will surrender at the moment that, okay, I have not read, then I will not attempt. So in that way, Sir, Miss Peter has helped me at every process in mains, prelims, or in the interview.
So I think history was my favorite, because I felt very proud to be the part of the country.
Your guidance in the last 3 days worked in the interview as well. Very grateful for that. Last year when I gave it, I was not valuing myself well. This time I felt that I deserve to get 200. That's because of misfits only.
Even chairperson, sir, he got up and he started drinking water and taking round. I was thinking that you're trying to test me.
All of that will happen. I told you, right?
I will show you. I thought this is a very big day, but I am feeling very normal. You have stretched me a lot in a lot of our one-to-one session. I'm thankful that you made me so capable.
And I was like, no way, I'm getting into the list this time. Forget like getting a rank. Thank you so much, sir. I think you're giving me way too much credit.
I'm Ananya Sharma, and I recently cleared the CDS examination, and I got the All India rank 5.
had cleared PGPSC Group 1 services, and I secured rank 31 in the state. We are given posting according to zones. So in my zone, I'm 14th rank. So I might get posted as DSP.
Sir, I was driving. Two of my friends called. I couldn't leave. Then I just called my mother and I rushed to home. I was not even thinking of giving this attempt. It turned out to be the attempt. So, and like the way you made my goal your goal, it is beyond words that I cannot express it.
I thank God and I thank my stars that I came across your YouTube videos and I got a chance to connect with you. So it was so comprehensive that after every session, it felt like, oh God, I've covered so much, so much. After those sessions, I felt like nothing else I need to do.
The thing that you mentioned about Amazon, I wasn't aware that they were a bookstore. So now that I can't even imagine them as a bookstore. So I think that's quite an interesting thing that you mentioned there. Right. So could you tell me? I think one of the questions that you've addressed in your as a subset of your problem statement, you have mentioned why traditional business giants are adopting the platform models. Now, we've taken an example of one. Could you explain to me why they are doing this? Because, again, why would a bookstore want to become somebody who's providing a service? So could you like throw a little bit of light on that?
See, what I feel is that when it comes to pipeline businesses, they are just creating a value for a customer. Like if I do an analysis, market analysis, I am realizing that there is a product which I need to manufacture. So I am just addressing one single thing, that I am manufacturing a single product, and in those terms also, what I am not aware of that whether I have written that in the article or not, but yes, what I could analyze is that when it comes to pipeline businesses, you are liable for each and every step of it. Like in order to terms of manufacturing, also I need to set up my own factories. And after that, I need to do a market research also in terms of supplying my products, that where will my products will fit in. And then I'm just, in a way, I'm just creating a value for a customer. But when it comes to a platform business, it is actually creating a relationship with your customers, with creators, with sellers, with developers, and you are in a way providing a service. Like for an Amazon, Amazon is not just providing a service. I mean, they are also creating a goodwill with their customers. I mean, the moment there is some problem with the product that you received, you call in for their customer care services, and that's how they are creating a brand image that they will give you an instant resolution for that problem. Right. So in a way, you are creating a network, which is actually called a network effect. And this kind of network effect is not possible in a conventional pipeline businesses. Of course, there are so many conventional pipeline businesses models are there. Like the companies like Toyota, they are doing really great when it comes to the international market. But but yes. Still, I would when it comes to like that, my article talks about that 21st century is a century of platform business rather than pipeline businesses. And even the greatest of the greatest pipeline businesses like Walmart, they are even trying their level best to get into the platform business.
So while you were talking this, first thing that a few questions popped in my head, but one of them was the platform's business model. It seems like it's a little bit more complicated because it's not just two ends of the spectrum, right? You're basically making this giant hub where multiple sellers and multiple buyers are coming together. And to be able to manage all of that, you really need like a larger scale. You really need scalability in that sense. If we talk about Amazon became a giant, right? Or do you think that made me wonder, do you think that this is possible for smaller businesses to take up this something that is so complicated? Because, at times you have to have all of your services, you have to have all the delivery men, and then there are so many fronts to this relationship, where there are so many multiple people interacting. It's almost like a small market, right? In itself. So, do you think smaller businesses that are actually starting up, do you think that, like you mentioned, Amazon was first a pipeline business and then a platform business? Do you think somebody can just start from a platform? And if you have any examples, I would love to hear them. But if not, could you just explain or tell me your thoughts about whether you think that that is possible?
See, with your question, I think there is one example that popped into my head automatically was there was an Amazon ad wherein a weaver from Kashmir who was weaving shawls and carpets and everything, and he's doing that, but he doesn't know how to go out there in the market and approach, because in the local markets, of course, his products are not being recognized in those ways. I mean, of course, people are buying it, but they will buy it at till a certain specific level. Until and unless, I mean, you are not creating some other new things, people will not be fascinated, especially the locals will not be fascinated to buy much of those products. So in order to increase your horizon, you need to approach, the other states, or maybe I would say the other countries. And I think that's the reason being that people have started exporting their products as well. And for such people, I feel, see, nothing is impossible. That weaver can also create a platform for himself. But yes, of course, it takes a whole lot of efforts for that kind of a person who is already into so much chaos of manufacturing something, and then he decides. Of course, that's not impossible, I would say, but yes, it is all about a person's will, I would say. So that person can also start his or her own platform in a way where they can create a community for all the weavers in the Jammu and Kashmir region, and they can start their own platform, a worldwide platform where people and pashmina has also a GI tag. So that would be an icing on the cake. So they can start a platform. There is no limitations for that. But of course, there would be some specific research would be requiring. They need to create a platform for that. They need to create a website for that. They need to marketize themselves through digital marketing and things like that. And if they are ready to do that, I think that they are good to go. Or otherwise, they have a platform like Amazon. They can approach it, and that's how many of the million people out there, they are approaching Amazon, because for them Amazon is already a well established platform where they can get into with them, and their things can be done. Yes.
My dearest Subhash Chandra Bose, it's extremely important that people like you become part of services, Vaibhav.
Thank you, sir.
And no doubt about that you will perhaps join the services. But if for some reason result does not swing in your favor, you should know that you have at least won my heart.
So hi everyone, my name is Vaibhav Anand Sharma. I am a member of the Indian Administrative Services of 2024 batch. My cadre is Assam Meghalaya. Right now segment is Meghalaya. I'm serving in a district called West Garo Hills.
He's one person who taught me more than I could ever teach him, and he continues to teach me these days. So huge round of applause for Vaibhav. So Vaibhav, to be honest, I have recorded every of your feedback already.
Use it, sir. Use it. I would love your, institute to grow as much as possible. With you, what I found is that very complex topics very simply greased and slipped into one. So if we are studying economics and linking it with world history, so I think it makes the subject more enjoyable. Then the 2008 crisis, how the yield curve was not able to predict it, but we explained it well. So how, the first class started with what is the drawbacks of economists So I somehow connected it that it is the drawback of almost every social science. In sociology also, we explain the effects of caste system very well, but we are not able to predict. If the foundation is being laid in a good manner, in a humble manner, in a funny manner, in a logical manner, interlinkages are being done, I think that can help a lot of aspects. I had all the concepts. I never did any prelims question wrong in economics. And in mains also, I'm pretty confident that answers were very good. But I was never organically learned. So that the only part where I was lacking was talking to someone about economics. Because I don't feel it. These classes are fulfilling exactly the same deficit which I had in mind. And I would say that if someone wants to study economics, which is one of the toughest subjects, if this thing is being applied in economics, I'm sure that ethics would be a cakewalk. So many times it happens that when we talk about bond yield, so we talk about the inverse relationship between yield and prices first discuss the questions and then present it in a way that there is a lot of brouhaha around it in our mind already. But the way you taught yield was the simplest ever explanation in my experience of UPS. When we take this decision to prepare for this exam, I'm sure we should be ready because this exam is not one of the healthy exams. It's not like GMAT that it will occur multiple times in a year and it will take care of your mental health. It's our problem. So please at least know why you want to join civil service. I'm not waiting for a blue light car to stand in front of my house. I'm not saying that I'm great, but I'm not waiting for it. It doesn't matter. It may come, it may not come. Maybe tomorrow Sarkar removes any kind of car. Don't give me, I'll buy. I have enough salary now, 1 lakh rupees, it will come after basic salary, some other perks, benefits. Now I'll take a car on loan. So if that is someone else's attitude and still the person wants to do service, sir, then this is a very beautiful job. I'm not a very wise UPSC aspirant who qualifies in first or second attempt. I was in that zone where people were not very happy about me. Very rational people were saying that I'm part of demographic disaster. But sir, I knew for sure my aspiration is not wrong. It is not for a very mundane purpose. So that is why I kept going and God gave me a chance.
So huge round of applause for Vaibhav. And thank you so much, Vaibhav, for taking out time. So delighted to see you and wishing
I'm
you
still
all
waiting
the
for
best.
that party that you were throwing in Goa for all the selected candidates.
You wanted in Goa or somewhere else? Better places?
You said Goa. This is how you diffuse the topic. Goa it is. Let's have in Goa.
Done. Let's do it in Goa. All right. Take care, Vaibhav. And thank you so much for doing this. And
thank you, sir.
All the best.
Bye.
Great. So another thing that while you were talking about the weavers in Jammu and Kashmir, that popped in my head, and the possibility of them having a platform, so to say. Do you think that the pipeline and the platform business model works well together? If I were to be an entrepreneur and I decided that I wanted to um, produce my own goods and at the same time have a platform business model, so have a combination of the two, wherein I can sell my own products and also products from other businessmen or smaller businessmen who would like to use my platform. Do you think that's a practical way of doing it? And if it is, do you think there's a specific scalability that they require? Does it only doesn't work in the larger businesses, or do you think that this is something that can be started at a smaller level as well? Again, coming to a similar kind of. I just want to know if scale matters in this.
Although I am not into entrepreneurship currently, but yes, of course, if I would get into, like, for an instance, I get into some farming, right? We know that the farmers are producing pretty well crops, but are they getting the kind of revenues which they should be getting? They are not getting it, just because I feel the only drawback which they are facing is that they are not able to approach a whole lot of audience, because it's not like that what they are producing is anyway of the anyway less in terms of quality and quantity, but it's all about approaching the right people, those who can give, like, I think I have published this article as well regarding farmers, where I talked about through the lens of Ansoff metrics, which of course Naman sir guided us through. So in that article, it was the only drawback with the farmers is that they are the best. They are in the best capacity of producing highest quality, and in terms of quantity also they are producing pretty well. But why they are not able to generate the revenues, the kind of revenues they should be generating, is just because they are not approachable to the kind of people. They are not able to marketize themselves in a way, like they are just producing the raw product. They are not able to marketize, like if I would say, so mushrooms. Like if you'll go in a normal grocery store, you will find a packet of mushroom. But what if that packet of mushroom reaches some parts of Europe or America? So those kind of things, I think, in terms of expanding our horizon, so platform business therein becomes really important. And it's not the only way through which we can achieve all of that, like for the exporting part and everything, but I feel it is just one of the means through which we can do that. And I think it is a great way to, because these days we know that it is a highly digitalized world. Every person has a smartphone. We all are aware of, at least for the basic AI, we are all are aware of. Every one of us knows how to use a Chat GPT or a Google Gemini. So I think platform businesses in a way expand your horizon in terms of expanding your business, because nobody wants to reach a saturation point, when it comes to business. Everybody wants to grow. After even if you are targeting just India, even after that also you will feel like okay, now I have reached to a certain point where I am unable to increase my revenue. So in those scenarios, I think reaching out to the international market, so in those spheres, platform businesses will definitely help.
Whatever you have said, always the way you motivated and the way you made my goal your goal, it is beyond words that I cannot express it.
Srishti comes from my home city, from Gwalior. So first and foremost, a huge round of applause for Srishti for getting 160 rank. This is amazing. Very, very proud of you. I've seen you crumble, insecure, and when I see you finally achieving this remarkable goal and with a good rank, it just makes my day.
I'm really grateful to you. Like, I was not even thinking of giving this attempt. Like, it turned out to be the attempt. So
during this journey, there are multiple moments of self-doubt. Whenever we are not able to clear the examination, we do question that how to proceed further. Should we give a next attempt, or even what we will do in the life, or what if not UPSC? And that moments of self-doubt sometimes breaks you. But I would say that having self-belief, having confidence in yourself, and having right people around you, it becomes very important. So fortunately, I had Naman sir, I had my parents, family and friends who motivated me. They pushed me that I can do that, and sir was one of them, and I'm really grateful for him for that.
You and Misfit have played a very big role in my journey, from motivating me to showing me the right process, and that has been truly transformative for me to building the right mindset that is required. And I'm really grateful to you and the entire team. Like, the advice to the future aspirants, I would say that
this preparation is not only about learning or collecting the resources, but you have to cultivate the right mindset.
Be honest with what you are doing.
You are not just sitting for studying, that you are calculating the number of hours, but how honestly and efficiently you are working during those hours.
We all make plans, we all prepare strategies, we take tests, but it is important that we are doing it with the right mindset, matching with the demand of the examination.
Across these stages, whether it is prelims, mains or interview, you have to think like an administrator. You have to build a right strategy and follow it consistently and develop that thinking. So whether it is prelims, it is testing that how you are performing in those 2 hours, how you are tackling that pressure, or whether it is mains, that you are interpreting the question right. It becomes very important that you are thinking rightly. And I think Naman sir helps in that a lot across the stages.
And gratitude for you is beyond words, which I cannot express.
That's amazing. And how has the day been so far? Tell me everything from the reactions of your parents and.
When the result came, I was actually traveling and my phone started ringing. So it was my friend who told me, and I was not believing in that. I called up my mother and my father. I couldn't see her reaction, but when I reached home, she was crying. She was all tears. And it was truly a moment like I was waiting for years. Like today's my chacha's birthday, so he's very happy, and like my dadaji, everybody was crying. And I felt that finally I have made my parents proud. I am worth their efforts, the worth efforts of my friends, my mentors who have put so much in me. They have believed in me. Started string of calls and everybody started visiting, and then finally all things started happening, like media came, so lots of media, so which gave a lot of interviews today, and then the felicitations. I hope that I justified your time, and like I hope you are happy.
Of course, and I mean, I have told you this in the past, it's a means to achieve an end. And the way I have seen you, even if you are not to get into civil services, you have always more than justified my time. So I'm truly honored that I got a chance to work with you. And congratulations to your parents. I know it's been a long journey for them also. All the best. And thank you so much for taking out time. Okay.
No, sir, it's always on me. Thank you so much for giving your time.
Okay. Great. So, right. So, from what I can understand is that, you need a certain kind of, you do produce a product, but you need a market wherein you're selling that particular product. So, could you tell me a little bit about, let's talk about a giant. Let's take well, I'm not sure if we can take the names of the giant, but since you have already mentioned Amazon, let's go with Amazon. So you have mentioned that Amazon sort of acts like almost like a service provider when they're connecting the sellers to the buyers. So don't you think that the stake of Amazon sort of what do you think? Does it increase or decrease when it comes to the quality of the product? Because of course they are not particularly the manufacturer of that particular product, right? There's somebody else who is manufacturing it for them. They're just acting as a platform to sell those products. So what do you think? Does the the accountability that a customer desires from a place that they buy from, do you think that is affected since Amazon is not involved in the manufacturing process? So yeah, I'm just curious to know about that.
I think Amazon, in a way of providing a third-party platform, is doing a great business in those terms, and they are doing justice to that. Although I have not personally experienced that, but yes, but I think in terms of providing the customer care services, so that's what it happens now. Even when I'm ordering a product, being a Amazon customer, if I order something and it doesn't come the way I am expecting it to be, and the quality is not that good, then I can return it at any stage. Of course, that limitation is there that you are supposed to return it within 7 days or 10 days according to the policy of the Amazon. So likewise, you can of course anyway opt for that option. So in those terms, I think Amazon is doing pretty well justice to that. And of course, and there is another thing through which you can at least little bit you can get idea about the quality of the product, that one before ordering it you can go through the review section where people write in about the product details, and therein also you can get a little bit idea about that what you're ordering, and sometimes they also post the original pictures of the product which you're ordering. So that really helps. I mean, at least I go about it with that perspective.
Yeah, I think that's a really important thing that you've mentioned, because a lot of times what we order is not what we get. So it's important to do your bit of research when you are getting something from a platform, right? Okay, let's move on to the next question that you have answered in your article. It says, why has the platform model become the defining business strategy of the 21st century? That's really interesting because a lot of these businesses started started much earlier, um, and then they gradually became a platform, right? So could you tell me what's been so significant of a change in the 21st century? Of course, technology has changed and come leaps and bounds, but what has um, what are some changes that you have seen within, of course, the customer's perspective is important when you are making a business. So what are some changes that would have steered into more of a platforms business? Because whenever we thought of, from the initial times of when we thought of economy, it was always an exchange of something. So what do you think that has changed from, let's say, the previous century to now? Um, Technology is the most obvious answer, so I have already answered that for you. If there's anything else that comes to your mind, I'm really curious to know about that.
I think the other aspect would be the consumerism, because today's day and age is all about consumerism. I mean, if you get into, like, you mentioned barter system. So in those days and age, we were like producing quite a less of a things, and we were exchanging them. And I think that also went well in those ages because the demands were less, you know. And the people, I feel somehow the population also plays a major role into that. And of course, any system, whenever that runs in a society or in an economy, uh, at that point of time, at least it is actually targeting and actually helping the population. That's why they are accepting that. But once people started seeing a flaw in that, the demands of the consumers are increasing, and they could think that, this system is not going to work anymore for us. And that's how the coins, then later on our physical currency notes, they came into picture. So I think it's all about consumerism and the demands. And of course, I feel in today's day and age, there is an excess of demand, because if we could compare our own lives, when we were young, how many dresses would we own? There was just a limited number of dresses. Even we could figure out that these are the two dresses which are my favorite dresses. But if you look at your wardrobe, in the current scenario, you'll not be able to figure out which dress would you want to wear, because you have ample of dresses. And even then, if there will be an event coming up in few months, you will be like, okay, I have no dress to wear, I am going to go and get a new one for myself. So I think that's the effect of consumerism, and it's going at its peak. And that's the reason being that everybody wants to get into business. And that's why. And of course, business is all about expanding your revenues at the best of its level. And if you want to do that, then somebody who has started with a conventional pipeline business, and they want to increase their revenues, and of course they'll get into the platform business, because that's the need of an hour. Because if you won't do that, then maybe you will stuck to that level, and you'll not be able to generate new revenues.
Right. So while you were talking, this interesting question popped in my head. We talk about Amazon, right? And Amazon is almost like a huge marketplace where you could get practically anything that you could think of. And there are much smaller ones which have, quick commerce has also emerged in that direction in the recent past. But I was wondering, what about brands that are really specific and really niche, like beauty brands like Nika, for example? They have a whole e-commerce thing as well. However, their products are also available on Amazon. So, do you think that it makes sense in this century to have something like a smaller, a more niche business like platforms business like Nika is? Because anyway, their products are being sold in a larger marketplace, so the consumers can actually buy it from a place where they're buying everything else from. So I just want to know your thoughts about, whether you think that um, that is still a good business model, or it has slowly becoming irrelevant, because we still see more and more brands coming up with um, more niche business models. So yeah, let's talk about Nika.
I think, yeah, I think you put it in right, that the products which are already there on Nykaa, they are there on the platforms like Amazon as well. So I think I would just give it a practical example only. I just went to Reliance, right? I had to buy a soap as well. I had to buy a moisturizer for myself. So soap, moisturizers, all those things, a nail paint for an example. So all those things are available on Nykaa. Okay. So I mean, if I'll come home, I'll place I'll just go to Nykaa's website, and I have to, browse a few little bit examples, I mean, the options, and then I have to decide that which one I should go for. And wherein I am going to a super mart where I am able to get myself some groceries as well. And therein, when I'm going, I am going to be looking for some few examples of moisturizer as well. Then if my needs are satisfied on one platform, then why would I go to come back home, and then I'll go to a Nykaa website and then browse myself through so many examples. And I feel in today's digitalized world and today's consumer, because of the today's consumerism, what I feel is there is always, your decision making process has become so exhausting in a way that you are always left with that feeling that maybe I could find a better deal there. Maybe I could find a better deal there. And in those terms, I feel you exhaust your mind in a lot more way that we don't even realize. And there is always that dilemma that maybe I'm not making the right decision. I think I should browse on some other website also. Maybe I can find a better deal there. So that dilemma is always there, and I think that exhausts our human brain minds a lot. But yes, when it comes to me, and when it comes to any sensible person, I would say, then if you're going to a big giant store and you're finding each and every product there, from your groceries, from your moisturizer, from your nail paints to everything, then why would you especially go to why would you come back home and, especially go to an Nykaa website and browse yourself through so many products, and until and unless you want to buy something specific which you didn't find in that specific mart, then of course it makes sense. Otherwise, I don't think that for the basic products you would end up going to a Nykaa website.
Right. Great. So, yeah, as we move towards the end of your article, I think your argument, or rather your analysis, has been that it's not pipeline versus platform, but it is rather pipeline plus platform. And that is the future. Could you explain what you mean by that? And yeah, could you help us come to a conclusion of which one is better, or what has been your analysis, and why is it that pipeline and platform combined works better for the future? I would love to hear that.
Yeah, like my article, the headline of my article says that it's the century of 20, it's the 21st century, and it's a century of platform business. But at the end of it, I have concluded that it's not pipeline versus platform, and it's rather pipeline plus platforms. So I think for that only, like we looked into the example of Apple. They started as a pipeline business. So I feel it's a high time that the things which, because see that there are so many things which are already being manufactured in our economy, in any economy, I would say. But now I think people would come to know about your products, about your services only through platforms. like I was analyzing one more thing in Indian market, that there are platforms like Uber which are connecting the drivers and the customers, but there is no platform in India where if I mean I have 3 cars, and one of my car is quite old, but I am not using it, and then how I can monetize the I mean the car is just there with me, but I don't use it anymore, but I don't want to sell it, but it's there with me. So how can I monetize in those terms? So I can I can create a platform for myself wherein I can connect someone, wherein I am connecting somebody who wants to rent out a car, and that platform will connect that buyer or that customer with me, and then we can get connected, and on days basis, or like for if that person wants it for a 2 day or for 3 days or for a week, for a month, then that can be that deal could be done in those terms. So yeah, so I think platform and pipeline, because there are already great existing pipeline business models are there, but I think somehow their revenues are stuck just because they are stuck with they are not expanding their horizons with getting into a platform business. So I think that's my take on that. And that's why the platform and pipeline, they go hand in hand.
Great. I think though we're talking about an assignment, but you gave a great startup thesis. And why don't you work on this and let's make a platform that does exactly what you.
Yeah, I think we can do
So
that. I was just a little equipped in a few or more little things, and I could not get the opportunity to create a startup thesis for that. And I was actually also giving it a thought, but then I was like, yeah, okay, let's just do what is already there in front of me.
great.
Because when we
Well,
talk
it
about
was
Zoom
really
also, Zoom also does that, Zoom is also a platform wherein they just buy, they just rent out like cars for themselves, because they are owning the car, they are paying the rent to the other person. But why don't we create a platform where we can just, connect two people, like the Amazon, which is doing, they are not owning anything. They are just connecting two people, a buyer and a seller.
Yeah, anyway, it was really great having this conversation with you. It was extremely educational for me, and I'm sure it will be for our audiences as well. Thank you so much for joining in, Apurva, and it was a great conversation. Thank you, everybody, for logging in and watching this podcast with our amazing Bose Fellow here. Please do show your support, and we'll see you next time. Please stay tuned. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Anandita. It was great having such a insightful conversation with you. Thank you so much. You've been a great host.
Thank you.